I thought the night would feel special. The candles on the table flickered. Soft music played in the background. And Isla sat across from me in a red dress that looked like it had been made for her. She hadn't touched her food, though. She just stared at me with that expression she wore when she was building up to something sharp. "You barely touched your food," I said, setting my fork down. "What's wrong? What's wrong?" Her tone was calm, but her eyes were cold. "Nathan, it's the same every time. Cheap restaurants, cheap wine, cheap everything. I'm tired of pretending it doesn't bother me." Her words landed hard. I had thought she liked this place. I had thought she liked me for who I was. I thought tonight was supposed to be about us. It's not about money. "Everything is about money," she shot back. "Do you know how humiliating it is when my friends brag about their boyfriends flying them to Milan? And I have to say, you brought me somewhere with paper napkins." The comment stung worse than the wine burning in my throat. "So that's what I am to you," I said quietly. "A man with paper napkins? Don't twist this," she said, leaning forward. "I love you, but you're stuck. You don't dream big. You don't take risks. You're just comfortable with being broke." The word broke hit me like a slap. My jaw tightened, but I stayed silent. "Say that again," I demanded. "Broke," she repeated without flinching. "Do you want me to sugarcoat it? Look at Rowan. He's my age and he drives a Bentley. He owns property in the city. That's what ambition looks like." I stared at her, anger building in my chest. "Rowan, you mean your friend's boyfriend?" "Yes," she said firmly. "He's proof of what's possible. And here you are still pretending it's noble to struggle. When will you grow up?" My hands clenched under the table. I wanted to tell her everything. I wanted to scream that she had no idea who I really was, but I bit it back. "Not yet. So you want Rowan's lifestyle? His cars? His money? That's what matters to you?" "I want security," she said, her voice softening for the first time. "I want to feel proud when I walk into a room with you. I don't want whispers about how I settled." That was it. I pushed my chair back and stood. The napkin fell from my lap and landed on the table. "You're worried about whispers. I'm worried about respect. It seems like we're not talking about the same thing." Her hand shot out and grabbed my wrist. "Don't walk out." I didn't mean it the way it sounded. "You meant every word," I said. "You just regret saying it out loud." I pulled free and left the restaurant. The night air hit me, cold and sharp, but it felt cleaner than the air inside. Hours later, I parked on the side street near her building. The Lamborghini purred beneath me, black and sleek, its engine alive with the kind of power people like Isla never thought I had. For months, I'd kept it a secret. Tonight, I wanted her to see it. I stepped out, the door closing with a low thud. Streetlights reflected off the polished body, throwing streaks of silver across the pavement. The door to her apartment opened. Isla walked out, keys dangling in her hand. When her eyes landed on me, she froze. "Nathan?" Her voice cracked. "That's your car?" "You said I was broke," I said. "Do I still look broke to you?" She descended the steps slowly, her heels clicking against the concrete. Her eyes fixed on the car like she was afraid it might vanish. "Where did this come from?" she asked, her voice trembling now. "Did you rent it? Borrow it? Tell me the truth. You want the truth?" I held up the keys, pressing the fob. The headlights blinked, the engine growled. "You've been sleeping beside it for months. You just never cared to ask." Her lips parted, disbelief spreading across her face. "You own this?" "Nathan, why would you hide something like that from me?" I looked at her, the weight of every insult she had thrown at me still fresh in my chest. "Because I wanted to know if you saw me, not what I drive. Tonight, you gave me the answer." She stepped closer, her hand brushing my arm, fingers trembling. I was angry. "I said things I didn't mean. Please, just explain. What else are you hiding?" Her eyes were wide now, her confidence gone, replaced with panic. "You'll find out soon enough," I said. Her grip tightened, her nails digging into my skin. "Nathan, wait. What have you been hiding?" The night went still. Her question hung in the air, heavy, desperate, and unanswered. The cafe buzzed with low chatter, cups clinking, and the hiss of the espresso machine. I had followed Isla here because she asked me to join her and her friends. I regretted it the moment I walked in. Freya was already smirking before I sat down. "Look who finally showed up," Freya said, her voice dripping with sarcasm. "Nathan, you found enough coins under the couch to buy yourself a coffee?" The table erupted in laughter. Isla laughed too, tilting her head toward Freya like she wanted to fit in. The sound cut through me sharper than her insult. I forced a smile. "At least I can afford to keep my dignity. Can you say the same?" Freya's eyes narrowed. "You're quick with words, but words don't buy houses, do they?" I turned to Isla. "You think this is funny?" She lifted her cup to her lips, avoiding my eyes. "They're joking, Nathan. Don't be so sensitive." "Sensitive," I said. "Your best friend just called me broke, and you're laughing. How am I supposed to take that?" Freya leaned across the table, her perfume strong and overwhelming. "If you can't handle banter, maybe you should sit at another table." I wanted to snap, but I felt the walls closing in. I pushed my chair back. Maybe I should. I stood, but Isla caught my wrist. "Stay. Don't make a scene." The way she said it made my blood boil. "I'm not the one making a scene. I'm the punchline." Freya chuckled, swirling her straw in her iced coffee. "If you had something impressive to show, no one would be laughing." I bit down hard on my tongue, swallowing the truth that could silence them all. Not yet. Later that evening, I stepped into a networking event at the glass-walled hotel downtown. I wasn't here for the free champagne or the small talk. I came because my company had silent stakes in 2 firms presenting tonight, and I wanted to watch from the shadows. That was when I saw her, Aurelia. She stood near the balcony, a long emerald dress hugging her figure, her presence magnetic. People hovered near her but gave her space, like they were drawn in but afraid to get too close. Her eyes found mine, and a faint smile curved her lips. I walked over cautiously. "Enjoying the view?" "More than the speeches," she said. Her voice was smooth, confident. "And you?" "I came for business," I replied. Her gaze sharpened. "Of course you did. Though most people here think you're just another guest." Something in her tone made me pause. "And you don't." She sipped her drink, her eyes never leaving mine. "I know who you are. Or at least I know what you're hiding." My chest tightened. "And what is that exactly?" "That you're not what you let people believe. You wear the mask of the struggling man, but masks always slip. The Lamborghini was your first crack. The mention of the car sent a shiver down my spine. You saw that?" "I see more than most," she said softly. "The question is, how long do you want to keep hiding it from her?" Her words lingered. She was right. Isla had seen the car, but she hadn't seen the man behind it. Aurelia somehow had the next day. Isla was scrolling on her phone, lounging across my couch. "Freya says you stormed out yesterday like a child," she said casually, not looking up. I sat down across from her. "Freya insulted me and you laughed with her." "What did you expect me to do?" "She's blunt," Isla said. "That's just her." "Blunt is one thing," I snapped. "Cruel is another. You could have defended me." Her eyes flicked up, challenging. "Maybe I don't want to defend what's true." The room went silent. I studied her face, searching for any sign that she regretted saying it. But she just scrolled back down to her screen. My phone buzzed in my pocket. A message from Aurelia. I read it quickly. "Enjoyed our chat. Some truths are safer with me than with her." I slipped the phone back, my pulse racing. Isla noticed. "Who was that?" "No one," I said. Her lips curved into a smile that wasn't a smile. "You're lying." "Who is she?" I leaned forward. "Why does it matter?" "You laugh when your friends tear me apart, and now you care who messages me." "Because you're mine," she hissed. "Don't forget that." Her sudden possessiveness rattled me. "Yours, as long as I play the part you want me to play. Isn't that right?" She didn't answer. She just glared, her jaw tight. That evening, I stopped by a bar near the harbor to clear my head. I didn't expect to see Freya there, perched at the counter with a martini in hand. She spotted me instantly and waved me over. Well, if it isn't the man of the hour, she teased. Buying the cheapest drink on the menu again? I slid onto the stool beside her. You enjoy this, don't you? Cutting me down, she smirked. Someone has to remind Isla what she settled for. I clenched my jaw. You know nothing about me. Oh, I know enough, she said. I know you can't give her what she wants. And I know she'll leave you once she realizes that. Her words twisted in my gut. But I stayed silent. She leaned closer, her voice low. Although maybe I'm wrong. If you're really broke, why did I see you with her last night? I stiffened. With who? Freya's smirk widened. Aurelia. Tall, perfect dress, impossible to miss. Don't look so shocked. The city isn't as big as you think. My stomach dropped. She had seen us. I forced a calm tone. Careful, Freya. Spreading lies could backfire. She clinked her glass against mine, her eyes gleaming with satisfaction. Oh, these aren't lies. And I can't wait to tell Isla. The dining room glowed with crystal chandeliers and polished marble floors. Isla clutched my arm tighter than usual as we stepped inside, her eyes darting over the wealthy crowd. Smile, Nathan, she whispered. You look like you'd rather be anywhere else. Maybe because I would, I said under my breath. She pinched my wrist. Don't ruin this for me. I forced a thin smile as we were led to the long table in the center. I counted the seats. 12 guests. We were on one side, halfway down. I thought I could endure it until the doors opened again. A hush rolled through the room. Aurelia entered. She wore a black dress that clung to her like it was painted on. Heads turned. Eyes followed. And then hers found mine. The air shifted. Illa's hand tightened around mine until my knuckles burned. Do you know her? She asked, her voice sharp. I kept my tone even. We met briefly. Aurelia smiled as she approached the table. She stopped beside me, ignoring the empty chair across. Is this seat taken? I felt Isla stiffen beside me. Actually, yes, she blurted, but the host gestured toward the chair. It's yours, he said warmly. Nathan, slide over. I moved reluctantly. Aurelia sat so close, her perfume wrapped around me. A subtle, intoxicating mix that unsettled my thoughts. Good to see you again, she murmured. Low enough that only I could hear. Isla snapped her head toward me. Again. I cleared my throat. From the event the other night? Aurelia tilted her glass, eyes glittering. We had a fascinating conversation. The table chatter picked up around us, but Isla's attention stayed locked on me, suspicion radiating from her. Dinner arrived in courses I barely tasted. Aurelia's leg brushed mine under the table. I froze, but she didn't move away. Relax, she whispered. I can't, I muttered. You should, she replied. Her lips close enough that Isla noticed. Is there a problem? Isla demanded. Aurelia smiled sweetly. Not at all. Nathan was just telling me how dedicated he is. Dedicated to what? Isla asked. To his work, Aurelia said smoothly, sipping her wine. The lie was perfect. Isla leaned back, but her eyes never left me. Halfway through dessert, Aurelia leaned closer again. She doesn't see you. Not really. I clenched my jaw. And you do? More than she ever will. The heat of her words pressed against me. Dangerous and alluring. Isla slammed her spoon against the table. Enough. Conversations halted. Everyone stared. She stood abruptly. We're leaving. I pushed my chair back. Isla, sit down. Don't embarrass yourself. Embarrass myself. Her voice cracked. You're sitting here with her practically draped over you, and I'm the problem? Aurelia set her fork down delicately. Maybe this isn't the time for a scene. Illa's glare could have cut glass. Stay out of this. I placed a hand on Isla's arm. Let's just go. She yanked away. Not until you tell me who she really is. The table watched in silence, the tension suffocating. I lowered my voice. She's a business contact. That's all. Illa's laugh was hollow. And business contacts whisper in your ear like that? I didn't answer. I couldn't without unraveling everything. We left before the coffee was poured. Isla stormed out of the dining room, heels striking the floor like gunshots. Outside, the night air was cool, but Isla's fury burned hot. She spun on me near the valet stand. You lied to me. I didn't. You let her touch you, Nathan. I saw it. She brushed against me. That's all. Her eyes shone with tears, but her voice stayed sharp. Do you want her? I stepped closer. I want honesty from you. The way you talk about me to your friends, the way you laugh when they tear me apart. Do you think I don't notice? Her expression flickered, guilt breaking through. That's different. No, I said firmly. It's not. Before she could respond, the valet pulled up with a sleek black Lamborghini. Heads turned as I took the keys. Isla froze, her mouth parting in shock. You're driving that? She whispered. I opened the door without answering. She slipped inside reluctantly, silent as I pulled out onto the road. The ride home was a storm of unspoken words. Her jealousy mixed with my frustration, both of us drowning in it. When we arrived, she stepped out without looking at me. If I find out you're hiding something, Nathan, we're done. She stormed inside. Leaving me in the driveway, keys heavy in my hand, I exhaled, trying to steady myself when I heard soft footsteps. Aurelia's reflection glimmered in the car window before I turned. She had followed us outside. She leaned in, her voice low, her perfume overwhelming my senses. She doesn't deserve you, but I might. Her lips lingered inches from mine. Temptation hanging heavy in the night. I gripped the car door tighter. Torn between the danger in front of me and the chaos waiting inside, I walked into the living room and froze. Illa was on the couch with my phone in her hands, her eyes locked on the screen. What are you doing? I asked. She flinched but didn't put the phone down. Looking for the truth? By going through my phone? I stepped forward. Give it back. Her grip tightened. Who is Aurelia? My chest tightened. You went through my messages. You avoided the question, she shot back. I reached out. Hand me my phone, Isla. Answer me first. Her voice cracked, desperation under the anger. Why is she texting you? She's a business contact. Isla laughed bitterly. Business contact. She called you fascinating. She said you deserve more. Since when is that business? I grabbed the phone from her hands. Since it's none of your concern, her eyes blazed. None of my concern? I'm your girlfriend. Or am I just another secret you hide? I clenched my jaw. You don't trust me, do you? How could I when you lie to my face? She screamed. The air between us grew heavier, each word cutting deeper. You think I'm lying because you want to believe the worst, I said. You mock me with your friends. You compare me to men with more money, and now you break into my phone. Who's really betraying who here? Her hand shook as she pointed at me. Don't turn this on me. I saw the way she looked at you. You didn't stop her. I didn't encourage her either, snapped. That's not what it looked like. Her voice rose higher, sharp enough to sting. Maybe you like the attention. Maybe you like being wanted by someone better. The accusation hit hard. Better than you. Her face flushed, and for a second, silence pressed down between us. Then she hurled the glass in her hand across the room. It shattered against the wall, the sound splitting through the apartment. I stared at the shards glinting on the floor. That's what this has come to? Her chest heaved. I should have known. You were never honest with me. You think honesty means giving you every detail before I'm ready? I asked. Or do you just want ammunition to use against me? She grabbed her bag, her movements sharp and angry. I'm done begging for scraps of the truth. Keep your secrets, Nathan. You'll regret it. The door slammed behind her. Leaving me alone with the sound of glass crunching under my shoes, I sank onto the couch, phone in hand, my head pounding. I opened the screen. The messages from Aurelia stared back at me. She doesn't see you. I do. One day you'll stop hiding. Imagine what we could be if you stopped pretending. Each one pulled at me, both dangerous and tempting. I should have deleted them. I didn't. I typed a reply, then erased it before sending. My pride screamed at me not to give in. My anger whispered that maybe Isla deserved it if I did. Hours passed. Midnight came and went. I sat in the dark, the broken glass still scattered across the floor, silence pressing heavier than her shouting ever had. At 2 a.m, my phone lit up again. A new message from Aurelia. Come outside. I'm waiting. My pulse raced. I looked toward the door, then back at the screen. The choice hovered like a blade, sharp and dangerous, impossible to ignore. I almost told myself not to go, but the engine of her car sounded like a dare. I waited on the curb while she killed the headlights. And when she stepped out of the shadow, I understood why people stopped and watched. The car was low and black and dressed in danger. Aurelia smiled like she already knew my weakness. You decided to answer, she said as I climbed in. You sent the invitation at 2 a.m, I said. The seat hugged me. The leather smelled new and expensive. I wanted to see if curiosity would win over loyalty, she replied, shifting the car into gear. Which one usually wins for you? You don't get to ask that, I said. But I felt the truth pushing itself forward in my chest. She took the exit toward the river and accelerated. The city lights turned to streaks. Everything I knew compressing into motion. This is reckless, I said. You're reckless. Reckless gets results, she said. Tell me why you came. Tell me what you want right now. I held my hands on my knees because I could feel the urge to steady myself. I wanted to get away from my apartment. From her accusations, from the sound of glass breaking. Aurelia glanced at me. She threw a glass. Yes, she went through my phone and then threw a glass. I didn't add that she had stormed out with venom in her voice. Why soften it for someone who wanted the truth for her own reasons? Aurelia laughed softly, not unkindly. She's passionate. She's impulsive, I said. And jealous. You like that mix, she said. You like danger and you like control. I can see both in you. I had no answer for that because it was true in a way I hated admitting. I liked danger that didn't cost me everything. I liked control when other parts of my life felt unpredictable. Why are you doing this? I asked. Why follow me out here? Because you're interesting, she said. Because you wear restraint like armor, and I can see the man underneath. I kept my eyes on the road slicing by. Why tell me you know things? Why hint you saw the car? Because I wanted to test you, she said. Because I wanted to know what you would do when the curtain lifted. You could have just asked me, I said. She tapped the steering wheel. Where is the fun in that? Her words were a warning and an invitation. She slowed at a bridge and pulled off to a lookout where the city spread like a scattered constellation beneath us. We sat with the engine, sticking in the lights of the skyline, breathing in the dark. The quiet made confession feel heavier. You said something the other night, I said. You said I wasn't what I let people see. You said I was hiding. I said what I saw, she answered. You have resources. You are not dependent. You do not struggle the way you pretend. I turned to her. How do you know? She faced me and gave me that small, precise smile. Because I follow where influence leads. Because I have people who tell me what they see. Because I have a nose for truth. I thought of the silent contracts. The late-night calls that were never for show. The deals signed in rooms without windows. I thought of the Lamborghini parked like a secret at my feet and how Isla had reacted like someone who never expected to be wrong. You don't have to know everything, I said. You don't have to pry. I don't pry, she said. I observe. Observation is a decision. I could feel my control slipping the way the city slipped past our windows. I'm not broke, I said. The words landed naked in the compartment between us. She did not flinch. I never thought you were. I have money, I continued. I have more than you think. I have businesses in places you would assume I had no business being. I keep it low because some lives run better that way. Aurelia watched my face as if she were cataloging the exact moment. I revealed a piece of myself. So you are not the struggling artist you let them call you. No, and there is more. I swallowed. The confession was both release and trap. I invested in a small luxury company. It took years. I led a silent acquisition last quarter. That car is mine because the company wanted a figurehead who would lead without headlines. Silence fell like fog. She lifted a hand to the dashboard and let it rest there. Ambition was secrecy, she said. I like the combination. You don't understand the price, I said. Secrecy costs you relationships. It costs honesty. It costs the right to sleep easy. It also costs you the chance to be admired for what you build, she countered. Ila's voice mattered more to her social circle than to you. She measured your value by a single standard. You chose different measures. You make it sound like a choice I had carefully planned, I said. It was messy. It was tactical. It was lonely. It is lonely for a reason, she said. You have to decide who you let into that loneliness. There it was. The trade. She wanted something from me now that I had shown a crack. Her gaze fixed on me with the intensity of someone appraising currency. If I keep your secret, she said, what will you give me in return? Her question was polite in structure and dangerous in meaning. Protection, I said too quickly. I caught myself and added discretion. A partnership of sorts. She tilted her head. That sounds like a business term for intimacy. Are you offering a deal or offering yourself? I'm offering both, I said, but not casually. Not to someone who wants me to be torn between two worlds. She smiled then, small and sharp. I do not want to break you. I want to be in your world honestly. You want to be my ally? I said. I want access, she said. And I want the freedom to be desired without pretense. Keep my part simple, and I will keep yours invisible. The phrase sounded like a contract and also like temptation. I could imagine the possibilities and the falls. I could imagine Isla discovering not just the car, but a partnership that would look worse in her eyes than any lie. You are asking for a lot, said. I am asking for a choice, she replied. Tell me, Nathan, would you risk everything for me? The question landed between us with a weight that made the city below look fragile. I could see the answer forming in 100 different directions, each one a cliff. My mouth opened to speak, and the world narrowed to the pulse at my throat. I did not answer. Asterisk. The apartment door was cracked open when I got back, and the light from the living room cut across the floor like a warning. I stepped inside, and Isla was waiting. Her eyes were red, her cheeks streaked with tears, but what stopped me cold was the phone clutched in her hand. Where were you? She asked, her voice breaking. I could ask you the same thing, I said. Staring at the screen, she tried to tilt away from me. Who were you talking to? It's not what you think, she rushed out. Then tell me what I should think, I said, stepping closer. Because right now, I see your tears, and I see a name glowing on that screen. Her grip tightened on the phone. Nathan, please, just listen. I am listening, I said, my voice sharper than I meant. Tell me why Rowan's name is on your phone. She froze. The silence confirmed what I already feared. You've been talking to him, I said, my chest tightening. My rival? The man who would burn everything I've built just to watch me fall? It's not like that, she whispered. Then explain it to me, I demanded. Explain why the woman I trusted, the woman who accused me of hiding secrets, is the one holding a conversation with the one man who wants to destroy me? Her tears spilled faster. She shook her head. I wasn't plotting against you. I swear it. He reached out to me, and you answered, I said. That's enough betrayal already. She moved closer, her hand trembling as she tried to touch mine. I was scared, Nathan. I didn't know what you were keeping from me. You shut me out. He offered me answers. Answers about me? I said, my voice low. Or promises about what life could look like without me. Her lips parted, but no words came. The silence felt heavier than any confession. I kept you away from the darker sides of my world, I said. I thought I was protecting you. And you went straight to the one man who would twist everything against me? He told me things, she said, crying harder now. Things that made me doubt you. I didn't know what to believe. You've been lying, Nathan. You've been living a double life and expecting me to stay blind? So you went to him instead of coming to me? I asked. You chose Rowan over me? No, she cried, clutching my arm now, desperate. I chose survival. I didn't know who you really were, and Rowan promised clarity. He promised me I wouldn't be left in the dark like this. I pulled my arm back, the weight of her words cutting deeper than any wound. Do you realize what you've done? Do you realize how icily he'll use you to get to me? Her body shook as she tried to close the space between us again. I didn't give him anything. I swear it. I just listened. I wanted to hear the truth about you, and he gave me a version of it I wasn't ready for. I stared at her, every muscle in my body tense. A version that painted me as the villain, right? That's what he does. He makes himself look like the savior while turning everyone else into the enemy. Her voice cracked. I don't want him. I want you. But you make it impossible to trust you when you hide so much, and you make it impossible to trust you when you run to him, said. The phone slipped from her hand and hit the floor, the screen lighting up again with his name. She bent to grab it, but I stopped her with a look. Tell me the truth, I said. Are you working with him? She shook her head violently. No, I'm not. I would never betray you like that. You already did, I said. The second you opened his message, the second you let him into your head. You crossed a line we can't uncross. She collapsed onto the couch, her sobs filling the room. Nathan, please, don't say that. Don't walk away from me. I love you. I made a mistake, but I love you. I wanted to believe her. I wanted to erase the image of Rowan's name flashing on her screen, but my chest burned with something between anger and heartbreak. You love me, I said. Yet, you let the one man who wants me ruined whisper in your ear. Her hands grabbed mine again, desperate and trembling. Nathan, listen to me. I love you, but Rowan promised me something you never did. Her words landed like a blade, and the silence that followed felt like the edge of collapse. The apartment door was cracked open when I got back, and the light from the living room cut across the floor like a warning. I stepped inside, and Isla was waiting. Her eyes were red, her cheeks streaked with tears, but what stopped me cold was the phone clutched in her hand. Where were you? She asked, her voice breaking. I could ask you the same thing, I said. Staring at the screen, she tried to tilt away from me. Who were you talking to? It's not what you think, she rushed out. Then tell me what I should think, I said, stepping closer. Because right now, I see your tears, and I see a name glowing on that screen. Her grip tightened on the phone. Nathan, please, just listen. I am listening, I said, my voice sharper than I meant. Tell me why Rowan's name is on your phone. She froze, and the silence confirmed what I already feared. You've been talking to him, I said, my chest tightening. My rival. The man who would burn everything I've built just to watch me fall. It's not like that, she whispered. Then explain it to me, I demanded. Explain why the woman I trusted, the woman who accused me of hiding secrets, is the one holding a conversation with the one man who wants to destroy me? Her tears spilled faster, and she shook her head. I wasn't plotting against you. I swear it. He reached out to me and you answered. I said, that's enough betrayal already. She moved closer, her hand trembling as she tried to touch mine. I was scared, Nathan. I didn't know what you were keeping from me. You shut me out. He offered me answers. Answers about me? I said, my voice low. Or promises about what life could look like without me. Her lips parted, but no words came. The silence felt heavier than any confession. I kept you away from the darker sides of my world, I said. I thought I was protecting you, and you went straight to the one man who would twist everything against me. He told me things, she said, crying harder now. Things that made me doubt you. I didn't know what to believe. You've been lying, Nathan. You've been living a double life and expecting me to stay blind. So you went to him instead of coming to me. I asked, you chose Rowan over me? No, she cried, clutching my arm now, desperate. I chose survival. I didn't know who you really were, and Rowan promised clarity. He promised me I wouldn't be left in the dark like this. I pulled my arm back, the weight of her words cutting deeper than any wound. Do you realize what you've done? Do you realize how easily he'll use you to get to me? Her body shook as she tried to close the space between us again. I didn't give him anything. I swear it. I just listened. I wanted to hear the truth about you. He gave me a version of it I wasn't ready for. I stared at her, every muscle in my body tense. A version that painted me as the villain, right? That's what he does. He makes himself look like the savior, while turning everyone else into the enemy. Her voice cracked. I don't want him. I want you. But you make it impossible to trust you when you hide so much. And you make it impossible to trust you when you run to him, said. The phone slipped from her hand and hit the floor, the screen lighting up again with his name. She bent to grab it, but I stopped her with a look. Tell me the truth, I said. Are you working with him? She shook her head violently. No, I'm not. I would never betray you like that. You already did, I said. The second you opened his message, the second you let him into your head, you crossed a line we can't uncross. She collapsed onto the couch, her sobs filling the room. Nathan, please don't say that. Don't walk away from me. I love you. I made a mistake, but I love you. I wanted to believe her. I wanted to erase the image of Rowan's name flashing on her screen. But my chest burned with something between anger and heartbreak. You love me, I said. Yet you let the one man who wants me ruined whisper in your ear. Her hands grabbed mine again, desperate and trembling. Nathan, listen to me. I love you. But Rowan promised me something you never did. Her words landed like a blade, and the silence that followed felt like the edge of collapse. The room buzzed with voices and clinking glasses, the glow of chandeliers reflecting off polished marble. Isla clung to my arm, but her grip felt more like possession than affection. Across the room, Aurelia caught my eye. She was radiant, her confidence like a flame. Beside her stood Rowan with that smug smile I had grown to hate. Isla whispered against my shoulder. You're quiet. What's going through your head? You'll know soon enough, I said. Her brow furrowed. What's that supposed to mean? Before I could answer, Rowan raised his glass in his voice. Ladies and gentlemen, it's always a pleasure to host people who appreciate success. Real success. His eyes locked on me as he spoke. After all, not everyone here drives what they own. A few people chuckled. Isla shifted uncomfortably, tightening her hold on me. Nathan, don't say anything. He's baiting you. He's been baiting me for a long time, I said, my voice sharper than I intended. Rowan smirked. Why don't you tell everyone what you drove here in, Nathan? Or better yet, did Aurelia lend it to you for the night? The room went still. Aurelia didn't flinch, but her lips curved with the faintest smile. She wanted me to speak. Ilza's nails dug into my arm. Nathan, please, don't make this worse. I stepped forward. You want to talk about cars, Rowan? Fine, let's talk about them. My voice carried through the room, cutting through the silence. I don't borrow. I don't pretend. I own. In fact, the Lamborghini you've been bragging about isn't just yours. It's mine. I hold a controlling stake in the company you've been flaunting. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Heads turned. The smugness drained from Rowan's face, replaced by something colder. Aurelia's eyes lit up, sharp and satisfied, while Isla stared at me like she had never seen me before. You what? Ila's voice trembled. You heard me, I said, facing her now. I've been keeping it quiet, but Rowan doesn't get to play the king in a kingdom I helped build. Her hand slipped from my arm. All this time, you let me think you were broke? I let you think what you wanted to believe, I said. You judged me without asking. You compared me to men like him, I gestured at Rowan. Now you know the truth. Ilsa's eyes filled with tears.
Dad.
But there was anger too. You humiliated me. You kept me in the dark while everyone else sees you as powerful. I didn't do this to humiliate you, I said, softer now. I did it to stop pretending. Aurelia stepped closer, her voice silk. Finally, the mask is off, and now everyone knows who you really are. Rowan barked a laugh that didn't reach his eyes. Congratulations, Nathan. You had your moment. But let me give you some advice. When you shine too bright, You paint a target on your back. I met his glare without blinking. I'm not afraid of you. He leaned in, his breath hot against my ear so no one else could hear. You should be. You've just made the biggest mistake of your life, and she'll be the one to destroy you. I stiffened, my eyes flicking instinctively toward Isla. She stood frozen, betrayal etched across her face. Aurelia watched me like a predator, savoring the moment. The room erupted again in murmurs and whispers, but Rowan's words echoed louder than the noise. The party was winding down, laughter echoing faintly down the hall as the last of the guests drifted out. I tried to slip away unnoticed, but Isla blocked my path, her eyes blazing. You made me look like a fool tonight, she hissed, gripping my arm. You humiliated yourself, I said. You never asked who I really was. You only cared about what I wasn't. Her voice cracked. I cared about us. But you hid everything from me? How could I not doubt you? Because trust doesn't mean asking for proof, I said. She shoved me lightly against the wall, her face close to mine. Don't lecture me about trust. I saw the way Aurelia looked at you. Like she already owns you. She doesn't own me, I answered, though even I heard the hesitation in my tone. Ilse's lips curled into something desperate. Then prove it. Before I could react, she kissed me. It wasn't soft. It was fire and jealousy. Anger poured into heat. Her nails dug into my shirt as she pressed harder. I broke away, breathless. Isla, stop. This isn't the answer. Her eyes shone wet. Don't you dare tell me you didn't feel that. Don't you dare tell me she gives you more than I do. The sound of heels clicking against the floor made my blood run cold. Aurelia's voice slid in like a blade. Interesting timing. We both turned. Aurelia stood at the end of the corridor, her expression unreadable, her black dress clinging like armor. Aurelia, it's not what you think, I said quickly. Her laugh was sharp. It's exactly what I think. She runs to you in tears, and you let her mouth all over you like a starving child. Ela spun toward her. Stay out of this. He's mine. Yours. Aurelia stepped closer, her eyes locked on mine, ignoring Isla completely. Tell me, Nathan, did you kiss her back? I swallowed hard. It wasn't what it looked like. That wasn't my question, Aurelia said, her voice low and dangerous. Did you kiss her back? Isla smirked bitterly. He did, Isla, I warned, my chest tightening. She tilted her head, victorious in her ruin. What? Afraid of telling her the truth? She needs to hear it. Aurelia's eyes flared, hurt masked by fury. So that's how you repay me? I kept your secret. I stood by you when you needed someone. And you let her steal from me what I was promised. I never promised anything, I said firmly. Though the air between us crackled, Aurelia leaned in so close I could feel the heat radiating off her skin. Then you will now. Choose her, and I'll burn what's left of your world. Choose me, and I'll give you everything she never could. Isla grabbed my arm again. Don't listen to her. She doesn't love you. She just wants to own you, and you, I asked, my voice breaking under the weight of both their stares. Do you love me? Or do you love the man you thought I wasn't? Ilse's lips trembled, but she held her ground. I love you. I made mistakes, but I never stopped. Aurelia's nails traced lightly across my wrist, her touch sharp and claiming, and I don't make mistakes. I make decisions. So decide, Nathan. The hall felt smaller, the silence heavier, my chest tightening as both women's eyes burned into me. I opened my mouth, but no words came. And then Aurelia whispered, soft but deadly, if you choose her again, I'll make sure Rowan is the least of your enemies. The weight of the threat crashed over me, and I realized I was standing on the edge of a war I couldn't escape. Asterisk. I walked into the office and felt the air change. Even the receptionist looked different, as if someone had rearranged the room while I slept. My calendar showed the meeting at 10. My phone showed unread messages that I did not open. I kept my hands in my pockets because I wanted some anchor that did not involve any of them. Rowan was already there when I arrived. He leaned against the long conference table like it was his stage. His suit was the kind that costs more than most people earn in a year. He smiled when he saw me, and the smile said everything I hated about him. You made it, he said. Right on time, Rowan, I said. You called this meeting. What do you want? He clapped once. Why run through pleasantries? Let us begin. He looked at the other men around the table, then at me. First, congratulations on your recent acquisition. It was bold. Questionable ethics aside, bold. My jaw tightened. You're talking like you helped me. I'm talking like I admire people who take risks, he replied. I prefer companies that are transparent. I prefer partners who do not hide the truth. A chill moved through me. Is this about the acquisition? It is, he said. And about the fallout. People have asked uncomfortable questions, Nathan. People want to know who they can trust. Aurelia sat at the far end of the table, composed as ever. She folded her hands in front of her and watched me with an expression that could be described as approval. The fact that she sat with him did not make sense, unless they had agreed on the terms of this evening. What do you want from me? I asked. Rowan leaned forward, eyes bright. I want clarity. I want to make sure the path forward benefits everyone. I propose we open up the books. Transparency sells confidence. Confidence drives stock. Stock drives value for all partners. You want my company exposed? I said. You want to pick it apart in the open so you can find the fissures. You are more poetic than you need to be, he said. Think of it as due diligence, for the good of the industry. And if I refuse? I asked. He slid a paper across the table with calm, deliberate gestures. Refusal will be interpreted as obstruction. Obstruction breeds doubt. He smiled then, thin and cruel. Doubt is very expensive in our line of work. Aurelia's hand brushed her glass as if it were an afterthought. Transparency would be beneficial for you, she said, especially if you want people to stop whispering. I looked at her and felt the memory of her offer. Keep my secret and give her something in return. I wondered which price she wanted now. You formed an alliance with him? I asked. Aurelia's eyes flicked toward Rowan. He and I admire stability. We agree wherever our interests meet. You used me, I said. You kept me close to extract advantage. We offered you a choice, she replied coolly. You chose to hide. That was your decision, Nathan. Illa's face appeared in my head. The way she had clung to me the night she cried, the mistakes she confessed. I had a dozen reasons not to believe her anymore. Then she stepped into the doorway, hair undone, eyes wild with urgency. Nathan, she said, closing the door behind her. We need to talk. My voice came out low. Isla, this is not the time. It is the only time, she said. She moved down the corridor and into the room like she owned the air between Rowan and me. She held a folder in her hand and something else that made her hands tremble. Please listen. Rowan's smile hardened. Isla, how nice of you to join us. Not here, she said. Not now. Just listen to me, Nathan. Her voice faltered for a second and then steadied. They set a trap. It isn't about transparency. Rowan laughed. A trap. That is dramatic, Isla. Stay out of this, Aurelia said, with that soft authority that had always made me feel like a child being scolded. No, Isla said firmly. I talked to one of your associates last night. She turned to me. I spoke to someone at Rowan's firm. They told me what they planned. They planned to leak selective documents to the press to make our company look unstable. They wanted investors to panic. They wanted you to be forced into a hostile buyout. The room shifted as if someone had moved the lights. I heard the scrape of a chair. Who told you that? Rowan asked, voice suddenly everything but casual. My source? She said. Someone inside who got cold feet. They shared messages. I brought copies. She set the folder on the table and slid photographs and printouts toward me. The papers were clear enough to read from where I sat. Emails, drafts, a timeline with names and dates, signatures underlined where they mattered. It looked less like rumor and more like an indictment. You expect me to trust your source? Rowan said. Or to accept that you can prove anything? Hila's hand found mine under the table, gripping like a lifeline. I am not making it up. I went to them for answers because you were hiding things, and I thought he was the one who could help. I didn't know he would turn it into this. Aurelia's expression changed for the first time that night. I saw a flash of something that could be called concern, and then it was gone. If this is true, she said quietly, then we must address it with full transparency. But that does not absolve anyone of manipulation. I pulled the papers toward me and read a line that made my stomach fall. It described a staged downturn, a set of comments to be ceded to a specific journalist. A plan to leverage Isla's conversations as evidence that the company's leadership was unstable. The thought of Rohan weaponizing Isla made my skin crawl. You set me up, I said. Looking directly at Rohan, you used her. He did not flinch. Business is full of calculations, Nathan. Hearts get bruised. That is unfortunate. You used Isla to damage me, I said. You used her like a piece on a board. He shrugged. I used strategy. She walked into it believing she could get answers. Ila's grip tightened. I did what I thought would protect us. I made a mistake. But I am the one who knows. I can help you stop this. You expect me to trust you after everything? I asked. The room felt too bright. Every face seemed to move closer. I know I broke trust, she said, but I know how they operate. I can get you the inside details. I can help you expose them first. Rowan watched us, calculating. Aurelia's fingers tapped a rhythm against her glass. If she can prove it, it changes everything, she said. But proof is messy, and public fights are messy. Are you prepared to go to war, Nathan? War. The word landed like a verdict. I imagined headlines. I imagined investors pulling away. I imagined the company I had tried to protect crumbling under the weight of other men's lies. Ila's voice dropped to a whisper so only I could hear. Nathan, if you walk into that meeting tomorrow, you will lose everything. Her words were urgent, intimate, and final. The folder sat between us like a detonator. I clenched my teeth and looked at Rowan and Aurelia, and then back at Isla, feeling the room tilt under the weight of choice. The morning headlines hit my phone like a physical blow. My inbox filled with messages, some polite, some venom. I read a line out loud because I needed the words to land somewhere outside my head. Unofficial reports suggest mismanagement and undisclosed conflicts of interest. The words tasted like Ashdod. I walked into the office and the air smelled the way it does after a storm. People avoided my eyes. The boardroom had a new tension to it, a kind that says decisions have already been made. Rowan sat at the head of the table with a smile that belonged in a courtroom. It's not a business meeting. You've seen the coverage, he said softly, as if we were old friends sharing a fact. Regulatory questions, Nathan. Investors are nervous. I let the sentence sit between us. What exactly did you present to them? My voice did not shake. He tapped a file with deliberate calm. Selected documents, corroborated testimonies. Nothing false, only incomplete context. Context matters in public opinion. You should know that. Aurelia's presence was a shadow on the far side of the room. She watched me like a judge watching a defendant choose to speak. Her eyes did not leave my face. You set this up, I said. You built a narrative and you sold it. We offered clarity, she replied. Transparency is a good look for the industry. People appreciate straight answers, the boardroom murmured, agreement as if they had been waiting for permission to turn away from me. The CEO spoke in the kind of tones that amputate loyalty. We must preserve shareholder value. We will open an independent review immediately. The words meant one thing. A review meant frozen accounts, frozen projects, frozen lives. I felt my world compress into a single cold point. Do you have proof of wrongdoing? I asked. Anything that stands up to scrutiny? Rowan's smile widened. We have enough to make questions louder than your answers. I looked around at faces that had laughed with me at holiday parties, faces that now looked small and thin. The humiliation was precise. It cut the kind of slow that removes the breath. When the meeting broke, I stood alone in the glass hallway and breathed until my chest stopped burning. I called Isla because she was the first person I wanted to hear from, and the last person I expected to help. She answered on the third ring. Are you okay? Her voice trembled. Does it look like it? I said, I'm coming over, she answered. Wait for me. She arrived with hair tied in a messy knot and a bag that looked like it had been through a fight. Her eyes searched my face until she found the place that still looked human. She sat down across from me and did not reach for my hand right away. She was careful and fierce in equal measure. I saw the press, she said. I'm sorry. I didn't know he was going to do this, did you? I said, because you were the one he messaged last month. You answered him. You brought this into our life. Her shoulders dropped, and she let out a breath that might have been a sob if she had more courage to make sound. I know what it looks like. I know I made things worse. I deserve whatever you give me. But Rowan did not stop at questions. He orchestrated a presentation. He used people inside your company to leak drafts. He fed lines to a journalist who owes him favors. Her words were quick and raw. How do you know? I asked. She reached into her bag and pulled out a USB drive wrapped in a napkin. I stole it. From one of his assistants, I went to the party and found the assistant drunk and careless. I took what I could. I never meant for this to happen, but I needed to know the truth. My first thought was disbelief. My second thought was gratitude so sharp it nearly burned my throat. You risked everything to do that. I risked everything because I love you, she said simply. I may have been a fool, but I am not his pawn. I looked at the small drive like it was a grenade with a pin. What's on it? She tapped the table twice, steadying herself. Emails, internal memos, messages that show a plan to fabricate instability by planting selective evidence in the press. There are bank transfers flagged to shell accounts tied to a PR firm Rowan uses. There is even a draft article with notes that match what appeared online. My fingers found the drive before my mind could argue with the hope. I took it and felt the weight of someone else's bravery in my hand. Why bring it to me now? I asked. Why not go straight to the authorities? Because the authorities move slow and Rowan moves faster, she said. Because if you go public without strategy, you will be dismantled piece by piece. Because he has friends in legal and he knows how to stall. We expose them wrong and we give him more time to destroy you. Her logic was fractured from guilt, but sharp with survival. So what do you propose? She leaned closer, voice low and urgent. We flip the narrative. We leak the proof in a way that cannot be ignored. We time it with our legal counsel. We use a journalist we can trust. We make their plan look like what it is, manipulation. You want me to trust you again? I said. Her eyes were raw and honest in a way I had not seen since before the lies. I know I broke trust. I am asking you to let me fix it. Not with words, with action. I thought of the boardroom and the small faces of colleagues I had worried about. I thought of the feeling of being stripped in public by men with polished shoes and cruelty for sport. The temptation to take revenge was a heat that made thought simple. If you truly love me, I said. Looking straight into her eyes, help me bring them down. Asterisk, the courtroom lights felt hotter than the sun. Cameras flashed outside. But in here, every eye was fixed on Rowan. He leaned back in his chair like he owned the place. The faintest smirk carved into his face. Aurelia sat beside him, immaculate in a white dress that screamed purity, but hid poison. My attorney stood, but I raised my hand. I'll speak for myself. The judge nodded. My voice cut through the silence. This entire case rests on the idea that I misled investors. That I lied. But what happens when the truth is that they lied to you? I walked to the projector and clicked play. The first slide was an email, Rowan's name at the top. I let the words hang in the air. Plant the story. Control the timing. Make Nathan bleed before the merger. Gasps broke the silence. Rowan shifted in his seat. That's not authenticated, he said quickly. I turned toward him. Then explain why your assistant's voice is on this audio. I hit play again. His assistant's drunken ramble filled the room. Rowan paid the PR firm to spin the leaks. Aurelia handled the journalist. We'll own Nathan before he knows it. Aurelia's hands tightened on the table. Her face stayed cold, but her knuckles betrayed her. The judge leaned forward. "Do you have the chain of custody?" My attorney stepped in. "Yes, Your Honor. Collected legally, verified by third-party forensics. We filed it with the clerk this morning." Rowan's smirk cracked. "You think this changes anything?" "Business is about perception. Yours is finished." I looked him dead in the eye. "Then why do you look scared?" The press took the rest from there. Reporters swarmed as Rowan and Aurelia were escorted out, their empire dissolving under the weight of their own lies. Hours later, in the rain outside the courthouse, Isla waited. Her hair clung to her face, her dress soaked through. She looked nothing like the woman who once held secrets behind her smile. She looked human, raw, broken. "I did it for us," she said, her voice trembling. "I thought he could give me security, and I was wrong. I chose wrong. But I came back. I stood by you when it mattered. Doesn't that count for something?" I stepped closer, the rain dripping from my jaw onto her skin. "You betrayed me when it mattered, too. Do you understand the weight of that?" Her eyes filled with tears. "I'm not asking you to forget. I'm asking you to believe that I can change. Give me one chance, please." Her hand touched my chest. The warmth of her palm fought against the cold storm. For a moment, I wanted to surrender to it, to pretend the past could be rewritten. But then I remembered Aurelia's whisper at the start of all this. "She doesn't deserve you." And the bitter truth was, Aurelia was gone. Rowan was ruined, yet the wound Isla left still bled the deepest. I pulled her hand away gently. "Love isn't a bargaining chip. You cashed it out the second you sold me to him." Her lips parted, but no sound came. I walked to my Lamborghini, every step cutting the cord that once tied me to her. Sliding inside, I started the engine. The roar drowned out the sound of her sobs. I lowered the window one last time. Rain splashed onto my arm as I looked at her standing there, shattered under the streetlight. "You said I was broke," I told her, my voice steady, sharp as steel. "But now it's your heart that's empty." I hit the accelerator, leaving her silhouette fading in the storm as karma claimed its final debt.